The New Mexico Department of Justice won a landmark trial against the parent company and Facebook and Instagram, Meta. So the tech giant was found liable for misleading users about the safety of its platform and endangering children. CBS News senior technology correspondent Jolene Kent has been following this story from the start. So, Jolene, how did the jury reach its verdict?
Very quickly. This was a landmark case, the first major social media trial, and this was the first verdict that was announced, and it found in favor of the state of New Mexico, levying a $375 million penalty on Meta, which is the parent company of Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook, of course. Essentially, what is so important here is that the jury found that that Meta knowingly harmed kids' mental health, and that it also concealed what it knew about child exploitation across its platforms, and that $375 million in civil penalties is much less than what the Attorney General of New Mexico, who brought this case 3 years ago, was seeking. But what's important here is what it sets as a bellwether, a precedent for the thousands of other cases that are going in process or going to trial this year across the country when it comes to harming children and harming consumers on social media. You know, they basically found that this was a breeding ground for kids and targeting kids by sexual predators, in addition to other harms, and that it violated, interestingly here, the Unfair Practices Act. So the idea here is the jury believes and agreed with the state of New Mexico that this is a flawed product, that the algorithm works against and violates consumer protection laws in the state of New Mexico. So what happens here? What happens next? Meta says it respectfully disagrees with the verdict and that it plans to appeal, of course. But what it really means is, what does this say for all of the other lawsuits that are in process across the country? But it's a major moment because for so long, so many victims have tried to seek recourse when it comes to regulatory help in terms of improving the environment and safety for social media from the outside. This case is going to set the agenda for many other cases going forward.
And Jolene, we also want to discuss this. Anthropic is asking a federal judge to temporarily stop the Pentagon and other federal agencies from banning its AI model, Claude. What is Anthropic's argument in this case?
Anthropic is suing the federal government for its designation by the Pentagon as a supply chain risk. And it also is alleging that the federal government and including the Department of Defense, Secretary Hegseth, have abused their power in designating it as a supply chain risk and putting its business in harm's way. Today there was a hearing in the Northern District of California. Judge Rita Lynn expressing that she found some of the arguments from the Department of Defense troubling. Anthropic outlining to the judge what they felt was an unfair approach to the designation as a supply chain risk, which, by the way, Anthropic is the first American company ever to be designated as such a risk. This is usually reserved for terrorist organizations, foreign entities. And so Anthropic is asking the judge to put a pause on the supply chain risk designation and a ban on doing business with other agencies, and instead return it to the original status of the government choosing not to use Claude, Anthropic's main product, in the Department of Defense. We'll see what happens. We expect the judge to issue a decision on whether or not there will be a temporary restraining order, an injunction in the next few days.
Jolene Kent. Jolene, thank you.